Republican leadership, specifically Moses Pipsqueak Mike Johnson, tries to provide cover for himself by Christian signaling to the base that, oh, I'm a big Christian, I'm doing God's work, and God wants us all to bend over for Donald Trump. And Trump's popularity is just eroding and eroding and eroding. The economy is in tatters. The stock market is built up on an AI bubble. It's imminent to burst any minute. Inflation, unemployment, all of the markers that show if we are a healthy economy are completely underwater. And so Moses Mike has a lot of power. He could release the Epstein files. He could launch an opposition against this authoritarian takeover that we're in the midst of. And he doesn't. He bends over for Trump every second that he can. But sometimes he just cannot escape the reality that is happening to everyday Americans across the country. He was on C-SPAN, and listen to this Republican voter, a military wife, rip into this little pipsqueak.
Republican line, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Samantha, you're on with Speaker Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. So my question or comments are related to what you said yesterday about not being open to pass any legislation to ensure that military gets paid. I'm sure you can tell by my voice I'm very shaky. Just want you to hear a little bit about my family. I have two medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country. He suffers from PTSD from his 2 tours in Afghanistan. If we see a lapse in pay come the 15th, my children do not get to get the medication that's needed for them to live their life because we live paycheck to paycheck. I heard you earlier say that you side with President Trump on anything that he says. Well, I just read an article this morning that said he absolutely wholeheartedly believes that there needs to be legislation put in so that we do not miss a paycheck. You have the power to do that. And as a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. We don't have the credit because of the medical bills that I have to pay.
Several things here. Her husband, PTSD. So many of our veterans have so many problems after their tours. And politicians like Moses Mike Johnson that say they're big, patriots and they support the military, they always vote for the war. They never vote for the warrior. Our veterans are treated like shit when they return because of cowards like him. And then you have the real issues that are happening here. We all talk about all of these other things, but there are real hardworking people in a country that do not have health care. And Moses Mike, big Christian guy, doesn't give a shit about the sick. He doesn't give a shit about the poor. And he does have power. He has a lot of power to walk back into Congress and call a vote, release the Epstein files, but he won't because Donald Trump has his balls in the top desk of the Oval Office. This Republican Party is such a profile in cowardice. I know we all get mad at the Dems for not fighting enough, although I'm seeing a lot of them start to really fight back right now. But truly, the Republican Party is in the majority. And during the era of Nixon, they told him, resign or we're going to impeach you. That was from his own party. Moses Mike Johnson is a charlatan. He is a hypocrite. I think he's a DL demon queen to the nth degree. I think he's compromised. I think he's terrified of an 80-year-old obese man that clearly has dementia. It is so pathetic. As we move forward into this, we're right in the middle of an authoritarian takeover. Do not, under any circumstances, fall for propaganda. Number one, Trump and Netanyahu appear to have found a peace deal with Gaza, with Palestine and Israel, which is a relief to everybody. And now he's going to go on a propaganda tour that put this up, Kylie. The White House tweeted the following: the peace president. And John Pavlovich said, you're zip tying kids and shooting priests in the head, you traitorous ghouls. So we all need to remember, we cannot fall for this. I hope more than anything that the bombing and the genocide in Palestine ceases. I don't care who is in charge of orchestrating that deal. If it's Trump, good for him. But meanwhile, at home, he is starting a war. He is sending Texas troops to Illinois, and he is threatening to arrest the governor of Illinois, and he's not going to stop there. He wants to have a military style takeover so that he can cancel the elections, because you heard that military wife rip into Moses Mike Johnson. Nobody is going to vote for them. Nobody. I think hardcore Republicans would say, I've never voted for a Democrat in my life, and I'm going to vote for them. And I think that we have to keep applying the pressure. While you don't have health care, he's starting a war in Chicago. Seriously? All right. Now, he's surrounded by these psychos, complete sycophants. And Pam Bondi is just a puppet for the DOJ. She doesn't run the DOJ. Stephen Miller runs the DOJ. And it's been reported that Pam Bondi, when she got embarrassed herself in the Senate, she brought a script of jabs for the senators. Kylie popped this up. Close-up photos have revealed the prepared list of put-downs that Pam Bondi brought to use against senators during her Epstein hearings. So she shows up with a burn book that I'm sure was written by none other than psychopath pipsqueak Stephen Miller. These are not serious people. She went in there to just completely show that she doesn't give a fuck. We are never leaving office, and we're going to keep admitting that. We have absolute power. Absolutely. There is no separation between the DOJ and what Trump wants. And the Wall Street Journal this week is uncovering what we all already knew, that the DM about prosecuting James Comey, it actually was a DM. And so the Journal reports that it was indeed an errant DM that Trump posted to Bondi demanding the Comey indictment. And at the end of this article, it says the misfire provided a window into how, through command and chaos, Trump has executed a wholesale transformation of the Justice Department. Even reporting on it like that is so crazy. I remember when Hillary Clinton was running for president, Bill Clinton was not president, and he met with Loretta Lynch on the tarmac, and Fox News and all of the national security Republicans and all the constitutionalists and all of the DOJ has to be completely independent. They lost their fucking minds week after week after week. And the news media went right along with it. Every chyron, is the DOJ colluding with the Clinton campaign. And the fact that these people are so spineless that they immediately, the Constitution means nothing to them. It means nothing to them. Owning the libs and having a dementia-ridden, obese person having power means everything to them. And this is a very short-sighted play. We are a country of 340 million people. They want to start arresting anti-fascists or Antifa. Come get us. I know a bunch of white women that are anti-fascist, that have kids, that go to carpool, and their husbands are anti-fascist too. Are you going to come arrest? You can go in the suburbs and start arresting all the anti-fascist people there. Is that what you're going to do, Pam Bondi, Kanks, Stephen Miller, puppy killer Kristi Noem? We are not scared of you guys. You are pathetic. You're intellectually lazy. And the fact that you celebrate this villain, incompetent villain, is so disgusting. And finally, I'm going to leave you all with this. Miles Taylor was an aide in Trump 1.0. And Trump has threatened that he's going to go after Miles Taylor and use the DOJ to go after him. But Miles Taylor is doing something that is so important, and it is, number one, never obey in advance. Kanks can talk about suspending our civil liberties. He can talk about he's going to arrest people that are anti-fascist or Antifa, but he can't. It's all bluster. So never obey in advance. And let me play to you what Miles Taylor says about this whole notion that the media buys into, and other Republicans, specifically in the House and Senate, that say, oh, he's just joking. Play the clip.
When you hear statements like that from the President of the United States, what do you think about when he is saying that they ought to jail the governor, they ought to jail the Chicago mayor?
I mean, we're running out of adjectives to describe this moment we're in. And I also just have to say, Laura, when are we going to wake up to the fact that he's not joking? I saw this time and time again. Remember when Donald Trump joked about swapping Greenland for Puerto Rico? And it was just a joke, his aides said. And now it's a foreign policy plank of this administration. And you remember in 2019 when he joked about pulling FCC licenses for networks where comedians made fun of him?
Yes.
It was a joke in 2019. It's not a joke anymore. And then he joked about maybe not conceding the 2020 election if he lost. And he joked about sending troops into American cities. And he joked about retribution in a second term. And his aide said, no, it's a figure of speech. He means it in jest. Success is going to be his revenge. And he joked about locking up his critics. Well, tell that to the Comey family today.
Okay. Right there. And it's not just that Trump's aides say he's joking. The members of Congress say he's joking. The members of the Senate say he's joking. And all of the pundits that go on cable TV and other mainstream corporate news channels and have podcasts, anytime he says something that is egregiously and blatantly anti-constitutional and illegal, they say he's joking. And then he does it. And it goes back to just such a simple thing. When somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Latinos for Trump. When he had signs up that said mass deportation now, believe that. No one is special, even white Christians, because they are shooting pepper balls at white Christian pastors that are doing what Jesus instructed them to do, which is love thy neighbor. Nobody is safe under this regime. Your kids are not safe. You're not safe. At some point, these knives will be turned and directed at you. So you can play patty cake with a dipshit that has dementia and swollen ankles and cannot pass a cognitive test. We all know that because whatever he brags about taking it all the time, we know he's failed it multiple times. If you want to play patty cake with this guy, do it at your own risk, because the knives will be turned against every single one of us. He's not joking. He's not fucking around. He is serious about all of this, and he has a bunch of psychopathic sadists surrounding him that enjoy this. And we still have power. Industry titans, if we conduct and coordinate boycotts, will bend the knee, just like Disney did, to the almighty daughter. Never obey in advance. Proudly be anti-fascist, wear it with pride, because we are in the middle of a total authoritarian takeover by a bunch of fucking dorks. Just the most incompetent dorks. And there are a lot more of us than there are of them. Do me a favor, you guys. A great way to support Pumps and me is to buy our book. It's called Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. Kylie will link it right below in the show notes. And Pumps is on her way to New York. So we'll be back with more news tomorrow as the dynamic duo that you've learned to love. Subscribe and like, and I'll see you later.